This is gonna be racy, you guys. Maybe I'm gonna stir up some controversy. Hey dancers, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to the Confident Dancer YouTube channel. So listen, I am super excited for this video because I love my sassy opinions sometimes, and sometimes I want to share them. A lot of times I keep them to myself because that's the best idea. But you know what the internet is great for? Enabling people with lots of opinions and apparently having fun watching other people react to some silly things and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to do that. As a high performance mindset coach, you could just call it mindset coaching, okay? I do help people to do things like, develop an empowering belief system. I help them develop emotional wellness and different practices and strategies for managing their own mind so they can have optimum well-being and optimum performance. So given that I have already a lot of frameworks and just philosophies and ideas about how to live a good life and be effective at doing what you want to do, I have some opinions about these quotes that I pulled up from Instagram. Now, listen, a lot of these, maybe they reflect popular opinion, maybe they don't. I don't really care if they don't. I just thought it would be super fun to honestly pull up some quotes from Instagram that very few of these do I agree with. I have beef with a lot of them, and I thought it would be kind of funny to share my beef. And then maybe, you'll learn some things from hearing me talk about my philosophy too. Maybe you'll agree, maybe you won't. Let me know in the comments as long as you're nice about it. Okay, so let's get started. Let me just preface this as well with saying that there's like almost no way to not contradict myself in this. I don't like most generalizations. I don't like cliche quotes. Honestly, I have a lot of resistance towards Instagram self-help. A lot of times I just think it lacks so much nuance. I'm a nuanced person. I'm a details person. I'm a, hey, not everything is black and white. Let's look at the gray kind of a person. Part of how I got into the work that I'm doing today is because I was extremely frustrated with how ineffective a lot of cliche life advice is. And I was like, okay, as a dancer, you can't just not care what people think, because part of being good at your job is making sure that the directors, you are dancing in a way that they like, because if you don't, you won't have a job there anymore. So there are all of these like half-truths floating around that people seem to spout off as the full truth, and it drives me crazy. So that being said, I will try to share some of my more nuanced opinions behind validating some of the half-truths that are in these comments, some of the, this is where it might not apply. We'll have a good time, I hope. Okay, so anyway, let's get into the first quote that I saved here from the gram, okay? This says, surround yourself with people that are good for your mental health. Okay, half truth, half agree. Half agree. I think it's really important to look at your social circle. Look at who you are choosing to spend time with. Look at who you are choosing to be influenced by. This can be different than who you spend your time around. For example, if you are in a ballet school or a ballet company, you're not in control of who all is in that room. So the task is upon you to decide who you want to allow to dictate who you are, your self-worth, your opinion of yourself, what you believe about yourself. You get to decide whose opinion gets to influence that, and whose opinion you have a boundary there and you're like, we're just gonna have a working relationship and I'm not available for you to tell me who I am and what I'm worth and all that stuff, okay? So yeah, there is an element to this where in your chosen relationships where you are choosing to spend your time outside of ballet with certain people, I think it's really important to be conscious of the idea that I do think there's a lot of truth to the quote, like, you become the 5 people you spend the most time around. I think there is a lot of truth to that. So yes, in this idea of surround yourself with people that are good for your mental health, I think there is some validity to that. However, the part that I really have an issue with, our culture kind of breeds this mentality where we give a lot of power to outside forces to dictate our own mental health. And a lot of this advice almost implies that we need to organize people outside of ourselves. We need to organize our circumstances in a way that then makes our mental health just what it should be. I think it is a very dangerous way of living your life and looking at the world. I don't think we should rely on the people who are around us and the external circumstances that we're surrounded by to be perfect in order to dictate our mental health. And I'm not saying that this quote is exactly saying this, but it can be like a subtle little whisper. There's a whisper of that in a lot of this messaging. Because I do believe that some people, though they might cause conflict, though they might not help you to feel very good, though some people might be difficult to be around, I believe that there are many circumstances in which it is actually a gift that they're in your life because they challenge you to grow. They help you to see the parts of yourself that you honestly need to work on. And if we just kind of have this idea that like we need to have no friction in our relationships and everyone around us has to serve us, they need to serve us in our mental health, then I don't think that's very empowered. Like it kind of disregards this idea that you have a lot of autonomy and control over your own mental health regardless of your external circumstances. Now, nuance. It is important to make empowered choices about who you choose to spend your time around, what environments you choose to put yourself in, what schedule that you choose for yourself. As much as it is in your control, I think it's great to make empowered decisions that consider what will help you to thrive. But I hope I communicated it well, that there's some nuance to this that I think we should just be careful of. Like, is this empowered language, and are we just relying on our external circumstances to be just how we want them for our mental health to be just right? Okay, here's one I actually agree with. Okay, so it says taking care of yourself doesn't mean me first, it means me too. It is treating yourself and others all with that recognition of the dignity that's within all of us as humans, the lovability that's there, the inherent value and worth. I think it's so important to see what's lovable in everybody and see that goodness, you know, and to treat everyone, including yourself, as a person of value. I really do believe in that and think it's so important. Okay, here's another one. This is gonna be racy, you guys. Maybe I'm gonna stir up some controversy, but this one says, you look happier since you started giving yourself the same love you've always given others. Okay, nuance. You guys, I believe in nuance. There are people in the world who continue to pour out and they will consider other people. They would never judge anyone else. They'll treat other people with kindness, but then they talk to themselves internally like they're a piece of garbage. Maybe that's you watching. Okay, so it exists. That definitely exists. However, what I have noticed as a general trend in culture is it seems to a lot of these quotes that people really think that they're loving other people so much. They think that they're pouring out so much. But are we? I kind of feel like culture is breeding people who are more selfish than ever. Okay, personally, I see that. And so, especially in this discussion of self-love, I mean, personally, I have some, okay, we're going to keep using the word nuance. We're going to overuse that word probably in this video. I have some nuanced views about the self-love conversation. Okay, why not just get into a few of them? I'm already here. Some of you guys will already not like what I have to say, and so, oh well, okay, we're all entitled to our own opinions, but I try to share this kindly, and I hope you'll share whatever opinions that you have kindly and respectfully. There's a lot to say about this, and I won't cover all of it in this video, but I do think having self-respect is very important. Treating yourself as a person of value and loving and respecting yourself, I think that is important. However, I think the way that self-love is often sold to us in media, on social media especially, is this me first. I'm awesome and none of you guys can tell me otherwise. I'm a queen, you know, like it's this self-glorification. And I think a lot of people watching this video, this is a guess, but I think a lot of people would agree with me that that's not really what self-love is supposed to be in a healthy way. At least the opinions that I've heard that I tend to align with is self-love is just treating yourself at least with the same level of respect and dignity that you would treat anyone else. You know, just like I think it's really important to live by treat others how you would want to be treated. I think that also goes in reverse too. However, in the self-love conversation, I think the way it tends to be promoted on social media is like, girl, you know, just love others so hard. You're serving others. You must be tired. Give yourself some more love. But I'm like, are people really doing that hard? Or is this self-love conversation really turning into coping by saying, I'm all that in a bag of chips and I'm going to excommunicate people who don't serve me? I think it can kind of turn into selfishness, being self-absorbed, being self-obsessed, turning self-love into an excuse to just see yourself as perfect and not take any resistance from anybody else. And I think that healthy self-love, again, I don't really love that term. I really prefer self-respect because, like, honestly, my view is I think people do love themselves more than they think they do. I think human nature is kind of inherently selfish. So anyway, maybe I kind of misrepresented some of my views or broad brush something that could be its own like 30-minute video. So forgive me. Feel free to ask questions if you do have questions in the comments. But I do think it's important to take a step back and maybe examine, like, what would it be like if self-love actually looked like being secure enough in yourself that you don't have to think of yourself that often. You are so comfortable with things not being about you, that you do have positive self. I am a huge fan of positive self-talk, you guys. I think it is so important to be like, girl, good job. Recognize yourself for what you are doing, how you are growing, see the good, treat yourself with respect. Listen, I am so about that, and I would love for like everyone in the world to have positive self-talk. But I just kind of question, like, is the goal of this self-love movement, is it kind of going in the direction of self-aggrandizement and selfishness rather than healthy self-love, almost looking like self-forgetfulness sometimes, because you just don't have to prove to yourself to be anything. You don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to strive to prove to yourself like you're so awesome. You just are, and you appreciate yourself for what you are. So anyway, don't know if that made any sense, but I got thoughts clearly. Okay, let's look at one where I'm gonna give it a big no way, girlfriend, or whoever made the, I'm saying girlfriend, it really could have been a guy. Honestly, this was probably made by a guy. I think this is horrendous. It says, hunger is the first element of self-discipline. If you can control what you eat and drink, you can control everything else. I think for a certain audience, this could be helpful. And it does come from someone called King Keto. So I guess this might make sense for the keto audience. However, the reason why I'm commenting on this is because I feel like it has a little bit of influence. This mentality has an influence in the ballet community that is super unhealthy. This glorification of like, no pain, no gain, no, you know, the guts for the glory, whatever that term is. And like, we seem to almost feel this sense of pride when we like grit our teeth and like overcome an injury, dance through the pain, or when we like skip that snack our body is asking for, we feel like, yes, I am strong, I am disciplined, I did a good job, I am a good dancer. Whoa, let's back up for a minute and realize that quotes like this, it starts to influence us with this black and white thinking that's really not helpful. What you eat doesn't have to mean anything about you. What you do with your hunger signals has nothing to do with your strength as a person, your morality, your goodness, how much self-discipline that you have. And a lot of times dancers take this in a really unhealthy direction, and we feel like we're doing the good thing when we skip the snack that, again, our body is asking for. And when we underfuel, we call that being healthy. Yikes. And listen, I was here too, okay? I was really here too, so I'm really not coming at this from a superiority complex at all. Whew, not at all, but I think we need to be really careful because sometimes what dancers need is not more self-discipline in this area. It's more of a healthy relationship with food specifically, or even injuries can look like listening to your pain and sitting out. Let me tell you, I needed to learn that because I was in this like no pain, no gain. Like I felt stronger, more proud of myself as a person when I did stupid things like take a bunch of ibuprofen instead of actually resting and healing my injury, which I paid for later. Don't do that. Same with food. It's like if you are seeing that as I'm being really disciplined, I'm being really good, I'm being really healthy by disregarding your body's hunger signals instead of, you know, seeing it as a sign like, you know, maybe I need to fuel better, or, you know, maybe I'm not eating enough. I think having that intuitive relationship with food in your body is super important. So anyway, I just wanted to, and Jess from The Whole Dancer or my friend Rachel Fine from To The Point Nutrition, if y'all are watching, chime in, sisters. I'm sure you've got something to say about that last quote, but I just thought that would be a fun one to end. Fun, cringy, entertaining one to talk about for our last little point. Okay, I've got to go. Got to head on, get onto a meeting right now, but I hope that this was fun to watch. Please send me on Instagram, Kirsten _ the Confident Dancer. That's my Instagram. Send me. I would love to do another video like this. Send me some quotes you want me to respond to. Please, please, please. Even if it's not like a quote card, maybe it's something you've heard, send it to me. I'd love to respond to it because I got a lot of thoughts. Love you people. Thanks for watching. I hope you had fun watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.